Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Some women just want abusive men. Yeah, I know that's kind of a controversial title. And just to be clear from the get-go, because sometimes I gotta qualify stuff. This is women across the board. You know, this ain't some like, oh, black women in the wrong type of video. This is white women, Hispanic women, Filipino women, Japanese women, Nepalese women. There's just some women out there. I don't care if you have 10 men who are buying this woman gifts, going to treat this woman like a queen. She'll jump over for the one guy who will whip her ass or who will emotionally abuse her. And, you know, this subject is coming up because there's some women, like, I know a lot of women I'm just cool with. You know, I'm just cool with. It ain't like it ain't a friend zone thing because I ain't trying to get with them. But, you know, I'm just cool with them and they tell me all this shit. And I already know a few already said, hey, Rom, you know what? If this will help, because I talked to them. I said, you know, I need to do a video about it. And they know what I do. And they were like, hey, if you need to say something to help somebody else, go for it, Rom. But, you know, my main thing in even talking about this is for the men. Because there are plenty of men who've been in that situation. There's some woman that they either interested in romantically or the woman may just be a good friend of theirs, maybe even a family member. And it was some dude who beating the shit out of them or who's emotionally abusing them. And one scenario is when, you know, some dude is going in on his woman and you intervene. And, you know, you might even be in a position where you whipping a dude's butt. And then all of a sudden, while you whipping a dude's butt or doing whatever, all of a sudden you get a bottle bust upside your head by the woman that you were trying to save. And, you know, just understand this for the men. For the men listening to it. And unfortunately, for this particular one, Uncle Rom don't have any stories. Nothing I want to share publicly. But trust me, I've seen it a lot. And men have to understand, sometimes that woman, she just going to want that type of man. And the reason, I mean, there's no one reason why. You know, some cases you could say, well, maybe they're mentally ill. But then there's some mentally ill women out there got enough sense to like at least try to go for a decent guy. So, you know, that could be the case, but then it might not be the case. Or, you know, you could talk about the whole imprint thing now. That plays a big role. The imprint there, that plays a big role. But then sometimes it's even deeper than the imprint. They shoot, you know, you might find out this woman had an abusive father or something, or abusive male relatives, and you find out there was a pattern of this going back throughout their family history. You know, when Christians talk about generational curses and stuff, that's some real stuff. That's some real stuff. People pass down their bullshit. You know, so it could be anything. And understand, it's deep to the point where some women, they can't mess with a non-abusive guy to save their lives. Sometimes they even know it. I mean, like I said, let's go across races, y'all. And I mean, I had some white women. Just to be clear, there's some white women. One thing, I give credit where it's due. We can say this and that about black women, but if I had to generalize, a black woman will walk away from that shit quicker than any other woman. Whether we like it or not, I give credit where it's due. But like I said, it's still a problem in the black community too. It's universal. And when you get understand with these women, right? And a guy gotta understand this because it's usually a guy who wants the woman, who's trying to win her over. Now, I'm not going to use the term simple, save a hoe, or anything like that. Like sometimes you meet a woman and y'all click and you can't really figure out what it is. And it really, even that term too nice, if a woman ever says that to you, now, as I've said in previous videos and blogs, sometimes it just means she ain't turning you on. I mean, you ain't turning her on, right? In some cases. And those are cooler cases. Sometimes she just don't want to hurt your feelings or something like that. But also there's plenty of cases where, she's saying, well, shit, you ain't putting her down or trying to beat her ass or trying to emotionally abuse her. Because, it's deep. If you really peep women who deal with abusive men, that shit's a pattern. It ain't just one, because most intelligent women, if they come across an abusive man, they run. Like, I know this one sister, like, real cool. As soon as the man, if he just raised his hand, he don't even have to touch it. If he just raised his hand, she's out. She's out. Now, one issue she do have, sometimes she can deal with some dudes who might be a little bit distant, but that's a whole other video. But, you get some women and they'll want that good man. They'll want that guy that treats her well, but they just won't get hot for him. And like I said, it's deep. It is deep. The imprint is in there. Family history is in there. Maybe the woman might have low self-esteem. That's in there. It's a whole bunch of stuff. Now, when I'm sharing all this isn't for a man to go out there and try to be a healer for her or to treat her right. Now, I've said in some cases, I've said in like sexual chemistry, and also when I talked about the house of the man, that a man's supposed to be a healer for a woman. But all women can't be healed by you in particular. So don't be going out there with some woman who's already shown a predisposition not to want to deal with you or not to click with you or something and think, oh yeah, I'm gonna heal this woman. No, it got to be a woman who want to be with you, because that's a part of healing. That healing part that men bring, that restoration thing. The woman has to want it. But see, a lot of women don't want it though, even though if they think they do. Because like I said, I've seen too many cases. It's gone across races where a woman, she'll have 10 guys checking her out. 10 guys. They be outstanding. Check all the stuff that she say she's on the list. And she'll skip all over all of them for that one guy who be like, bitch, you ain't shit. And they'll sit there and take him. And we'll think a man, like I said, sometimes when they say they too nice, they do mean you too nice. Like if they feel like if you ain't beating their ass or something like that, you don't really love them. I remember a Muslim brother broke that down to me years ago. He had real insight into the game. He said, you just get some women like that. Like they feel like if you don't love them or you ain't going crazy or you ain't cursing them, you really don't want them. So if you come up, it could get to the point, and some women can get to the point where, if a dude is treating her like, a human being should treat another human being, she disrespect that. She don't know what to do with that. For the men out there, like I said, this is more for the men. Because my thing with that, as a man, if you encounter that type of woman, wish her well. Let her do her thing. Only worry about, I hate to say this, let her be somebody else's problem. Only time you should be concerned about that woman if she's a close relative. Then that's a family thing. Family, that's different. You might have to put a bullet in somebody. But otherwise, let that shit go, yo. Seriously, there's too many men out here catching hell, going through some shit, going through some emotional abuse themselves. Because sometimes when you get women like that, they are just as emotionally abusive. Because I'm going to tell you the truth, there's some deep shit. Now, I've seen plenty of these cases up close and personal. That's why I say Uncle Rom don't have any stories about it, because the shit is deep. I've seen times where these women will purposely egg the guy on to do something. And I know some people, they might hear this, especially some domestic violence, people who speak out against it, and they'll say, oh, you're blaming the victim. No, I'm being raw. I'm being raw in this shit. And a lot of times, not all of them, there's some genuine victims out there, but then you get plenty of women. They know the guy abusive, and they will, for whatever reason, they will push every button knowing what the reaction will be. And like I said, the reasons why they'll do it is deep. But a man, look, you a good guy out there, you doing your thing in life, you let that be somebody else's problem. As soon as you start seeing some signs like that, you need to be like, you know what, lady, I'm gonna let you go do your thing. I don't care what she got. I don't care if she got that big, big fat old ass, big breast, or pretty face, whatever you like. Let her be somebody else's problem. Because if that's not in your heart or your character to abuse a woman, and especially for a lot of guys, let's be real, a lot of guys, a lot of men, most men, they have that inner instinct to protect a woman, especially if she's within his boundary, especially if he can say that's his woman. So, if you get a woman who don't want that, there's nothing you can do with her. Don't waste your time. And that, that's really my message. Look, here's something, and this is going to overall whatever case, whatever scenario we're going to talk about with women, right? Then this is something every man need to know. You know what? I'm gonna make that I'm gonna make that the next video. I'm gonna get into this. It's that deep. Men need to just remember this one thing. Once you remember that one thing, you be like, oh yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna get into that in the next video. And y'all gotta just check it out to see what I'm talking about. It's just, you just gonna be like, you know what, you got a great point, man. So anyway, that's it for today. Like I said, let me just say one more time. I don't mean, there's some domestic violence, there's some serious shit. And quite frankly, a man don't need to be warned with a woman. If he get to the point where if he even think about raising his hand to a woman or abusing her physically or emotionally, he need to just leave. And especially if she's the type who's pushing some buttons. And for the other men who just do it just because, well, I don't have no respect for you. I don't really, because in either case, one, that shows a lack of character. Like, I don't care what the woman's doing. Walk away. That's one thing I learned from my grandfather. He said, shit, walk away. If you even get to that point, walk the fuck away. Because that woman ain't for you. Because that, on a serious tip, that type of woman get you killed. Because she'll find another abusive type of man and say, he hit me or something. Somebody crazy enough to actually try to harm you. So if you ever get that type, if you ever get that vibe or feeling, walk away, man. Just have a will. Walk away. You don't even want to get caught up in that. All right. So anyway, that's it for today. Just understand, fellas. Some women, that's just gonna be what they're gonna go for, and that's not you. Charge it to the game. Find some of these beautiful women out here. And when I say beautiful, I don't mean like just some dime. Just a cooperative ass woman who fits who you are, who can handle it if you want to treat her like a human being, like a man's supposed to treat a woman. Search for them. There really is plenty of them. Leave those other ones alone. And like I say, I'm gonna get into one basic thing about this whole male-female dynamic, which, if a man just adopts this mindset, I think it'll change a whole lot. Unfortunately, many men don't adopt it, which I don't know why. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.